Hi, everyone. Just a heads up that this episode of Blind Duet includes discussions of mental health and suicide.
What's up, Blind Duet fans? Happy New Year. I'm your co-host, Ben Kahn, coming to you from Los Angeles, California.
And I'm Tom Mayer, joining you from New Orleans. On Blind Duet, we set two musicians up on a musical blind date. After meeting for the first time, they have 2 weeks to write and record an original piece of music together, which we will feature at the end of this episode. Ben, it's a new year. I've got some new mics, lots of changes ahead. What are we teeing up for Blind Duet in 2022?
Man, we have some cool stuff planned. Very soon, you will be able to listen to each Blind Duet song individually on your favorite streaming platform. We are also releasing a supplementary playlist that'll have music from all of our featured guests, as well as some video content and, of course, merch.
Yep, can't wait. There is also a new development if you listen to us on Spotify. You can now rate podcasts. So if you are tuning in every month, please consider giving us a 5-star rating. It helps us out a ton. Or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Okay, let's get to our two guests this episode. Ben, tell me a little bit about Erick Bardales and Charles Burchell.
So both of these guys are really important people in my musical development. Believe it or not, Charles was actually the first drummer who introduced me to the world of jazz back when I was just a teenager. He continued to be a friend and musical role model throughout high school. We even went to Berkeley 5 Week together, which was really cool. And it was just overall great getting to connect with him again. Erick and I first met back in 2015 through the artist Ombre, and we have continued to work on some incredible projects, including our Splice pack, El Paisa.
Yeah, I checked it out. That is super sick. And we'll have a link in the episode description if anyone else wants to check it out.
For those that may be unfamiliar with Splice, they are a subscription-based, royalty-free sample library with more sounds than anyone could possibly get through in a lifetime.
Right. So if I was writing some music and I wanted a very specific reggaeton guitar sound, I could subscribe to Splice, download the El Paisa sample pack, and get exactly what I'm looking for.
Right. As Charles, Erick, and I have all worked with Splice before, they get referenced a bunch in this episode.
Let's hear from them right now. Introducing Erick Bardales and Charles Burchell.
All right, so we're just going to jump in. I know both of you guys. Tom, you have not met Erick before. So, Tom, this is Erick. Erick's a good friend of mine.
Tom, it's a pleasure.
Obviously, just Erick, for some context, me, Tom, and Charles all went to high school together.
Gotcha.
So we all, knew each other back then. Just a brief introduction, I guess. For Charles, Erick is also from New Orleans. Charles is from New Orleans.
Dope.
He's now living in Rome. Erick is in LA. You guys are both amazing musicians and producers. So I
appreciate it.
Really been wanting to connect you guys because you have a lot of things that cross over that we'll get into. I guess just first off, Erick, you want to introduce yourself and tell Charles and Tom, since you guys haven't met before, who you are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you got most of it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, music producer and engineer, really. Not so much of a musician, but thanks, Ben, for that. But yeah, music producer, art engineer, the stuff that the most successful stuff that I've done is like the stuff with Ombre, since we started since Ombre was 17, you know what I'm saying? Based on that brought a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. Get signed by PJ Morton because of the stuff I did with her, and then also based on that as well as like I met some people, some cool people that we became friends, and then they went on and they working for Splice. So and because of that, I've been able to do Splice originals every month through them. So that's basically the main thing that's been keeping me busy. The whole production and engineering and the sound design now with Splice. So I'm so originally I'm from New Orleans because I was raised there, but I was born in Jersey. And then,
Yeah.
from Jersey back and forth from Jersey to Honduras. And then, like, I think I was like around 8 or 9, somewhere around there when we moved to New Orleans for good. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, that's why I was raised. That's what I went to school with and everything. So,
Yeah, pleasure, man. I definitely can hear that New Orleans in your accent. I can hear that.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't tell anyone, like, I know, people know me in Jersey. It's like, that's a lot. Not, it's like in New Orleans, that's home.
Real pleasure. It's
not like
all dope things I hear. So, I guess I'll tell you about myself. Yeah, we all went to high school together, like over, oh man, a long time ago, I guess at this point. And since then, I went through a lot of different things. I was a jazz musician for a while, but all the while doing music production on the side. And then I kind of started teaching music production once I finished school. Yeah, that just kind of blossomed. I started I designed a program at Carnegie Hall for like high school kids to teach music production. And I was doing a bunch of stuff around New York City. I had for a long time, I still do, had a band called the Love Experiment. It's like a soul band, like a neo soul band or whatever.
Nice.
So I was like heavy into like live music and having bands and things like that. And I had a bunch of different bands in high school as well. That was a cool thing to do. It's like make bands and, but that informed me as a music producer, because now what I do, similar to you, is sound design. So I actually have my own label with Splice.
Nice. Oh, dope.
Not really with Splice, but distributed with
But
Splice.
A lot of the stuff, I mean, what's the label that you have with Splice?
It's called LEX Sounds.
Oh, okay, got you.
LEX Sounds.
I got you.
It started from my band, and it actually started because we collaborated with Splice Originals. We did a bunch of sample packs for them. And then then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I like doing sample packs, and I'd been connected with them for a while, and they asked me to do sample packs, and I didn't even really know what that was at the time, because I would just get drum samples from people, a flash drive, like, here you go. So I had no idea what it really was, but as I saw them build their whole infrastructure, I was like, oh wow, and I was originally slated to release stuff on Splice Originals, and then they built that whole thing. So once it finally happened, and I saw how successful it could be, I was like, I need to keep doing this. We have a lot of different producers around the world that we hit up to make things, and that's kind of my main thing now is running this label, producing music, teaching. I still do work remotely with Carnegie Hall, and also I'm a rapper. So like I've been rapping for
you're artist,
I've been rapping maybe professionally for like the last 5 years, but I've been rapping all my life, so now I'm taking it seriously.
I feel you on that. Like even when I'm creating sample packs, in a way, is liberating, because I can do whatever I want. It's not so much of like, oh, I need to do this for this one specific client, or I need to do this one thing for this. It's more of like, oh, whatever I think of, I can make that and send, and send it out to the world in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like Splice is like, is a resource that I feel like almost everybody that makes music uses it in some capacity at this point. I feel like it's
at least, I
rarely go into a session nowadays where someone doesn't pull up something from Splice, at
That's
least
crazy.
a snare drum, at least a hi-hat loop, something, let alone I'll get whole sessions made from Splice loops that people play. I'm like, oh man, that guitar's really nice. Like, where'd that come from? Like, oh, it's Splice. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's cool, man. And Splice, I think, is also another company that something I appreciate about them is that they work with the creatives and the creators of this stuff a lot. Like it's not just one person doing everything, or some kind of like conglomerate, overlord of samples. It kind of feels more like they're willing to reach out to the community and work with people, which is cool.
I think and what I love about Splice is the fact that they keep the integrity of what this is. It's not like a it's not like a washed down version of samples. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to have that a lot back in the days before Splice. That they had a lot of loop, sample creators, sample packs, but every time you go try to download like a trap pack, it's like, man, this is not that. Or you try to download like an R&B joint, and it's like, man, this is not. Now I ended up paying $30, $50 or whatever for something that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? You can't even preview at that time, And when they came in and and did it the way they do it, they're doing it. It's like, oh, okay, this is, and I mean that's why it works.
Yeah, all the love for Splice. They've changed my life definitely.
Yeah, I think they've helped out. They've helped out enough of us on this call that we appreciate. We appreciate them.
Yeah, they
Thank
get
you, Splice.
they get their PSA. You know, like
Definitely,
they're good people. You know, and they keep us integrity and they care about creators, and you know they want to help empower people. And what I feel like I'm trying to do with my label, but what I feel like they also do with Splice Originals is like they look for really great musicians and they try to collaborate with them and not tell them like, hey, you got to do this, but like, hey, we love what you do. Let's do what you do.
Charles, we are really excited to feature you on this episode with Eric because, frankly, this kind of thing seems right in your wheelhouse. You have a ton of experience finding common ground across lines of difference, specifically through art. And I'm hoping you could speak on 2 instances really quickly. In particular, could you tell us a little bit about collaborating with Wonk and Red Bull and traveling to San Salvador with Next Level?
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are 2 very unique experiences. So that Wonk album, Wonk, for people who don't know, they're like a really cool Japanese like neo soul group. And I released my band's first record with this label, Sweet Soul, in Japan. So after we released this record, which happened to be the same record that I used for my first sample pack, they were like, "Oh, we want to get you guys to Japan. Maybe we should have you collaborate with the Japanese group that's similar." So we made this record using Splice. Of course, this is a free ad for them. They were in Japan. I was in Italy, and the rest of my band was in New York. So I flew to New York a couple times to do sessions, but yeah, we never met in person to make the record. It was all just sending things back and forth and notes. So that was like a crazy experience. Then to your other point, the San Salvador thing. So I was a part of this program called Next Level, which is like a hip hop diplomacy program run by the State Department and the University of North Carolina. This must have been 2015. So it's like the people apply for it and they select a beat maker, an MC, a dancer, and a DJ. And they put together like 5 teams and they send them to different places around the world to teach hip hop and to kind of connect with different communities and just have this kind of cultural exchange. So my group went to El Salvador, which was great. It was an amazing experience and it was a really amazing exchange. And I'm actually doing it again. Not to El Salvador, but I'm doing the program again. I think this is their 8th year doing it. The only issue is COVID is kind of slowing things down. So I'm supposed to go to Taiwan at some point. The experience of doing this at this level, like a government sanctioned hip hop thing, if it seems almost like a counterintuitive or like, nah, that doesn't mesh, but it's actually a super amazing program. The government doesn't really tell us what to do. They're just there to kind of sponsor the thing. I got to really connect. Like they didn't keep us they wanted to, but they weren't able to keep us boxed in. So I got to hang out with people, like really hang out and go to their houses and do type of stuff, which.
Did you eat some pupusas out there?
Oh man, did I? Did I? I was done for it. But that's the thing, like I got to really experience the culture and I got to collaborate with a cumbia band. Like I got to sample them and like make cool music. It was just an amazing experience. And it led me to doing more things like that. So diplomacy is a part of my story that hopefully will come back post-COVID or whatever, we'll see. But it's definitely connecting people is something that I really love. And I think it's something that I see in my education work, the work that I do, making samples, the work I do as a producer. It's really just trying to connect people. And I really, really love that.
I wanted, since Charles brought it up, and we sort of mentioned at the beginning, everyone on this call is from New Orleans, right? 3 of us have left New Orleans for other things. I think something I wanted to touch on, especially with this crew, is just why leave? I think like why do we leave? And like Eric, if I could put you on the spot, there's a tweet from you that says it will take a lot of sacrificed careers to create a music industry in New Orleans, or it will take a group of successful people that are willing to bring the resources here and pave the way.
So at least for me, this is the thing, right? What I've noticed, growing up in New Orleans, and then also starting, I started making music at a young age, and like being able to be around a lot of the OGs right in New Orleans and stuff, and having conversations with them, because I never really asked them like, what did you do right? I always asked them like, what did you do wrong? They had a chance to leave, but they just didn't do it because they wanted to do it in New Orleans. A lot of them, had the chance to just get out of there and become, and maybe their career would have flourished even, beyond where they're at now. And then I've also been fortunate enough to meet people that became successful after leaving New Orleans, that are from New Orleans, and asking them the same question, like, what do you did you think you did that was the wrong move, or what was, I guess, what's the best thing that you did for your career at that point? And everyone was like, yeah, leave New Orleans. And then the ones that didn't leave, they were like, that's the worst thing that I made, staying here. I should have just left.
I really resonate with Eric was saying. My overall plan is to do as much as I can and then bring as many resources as I can back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like I think when people leave New Orleans, there's always this thing in them that one day they're gonna go home. Now, everything in due time, and I think New Orleans is one of those places to. This is also to kind of hit the earlier question where you can hit that ceiling really fast. And honestly, for what I was doing in high school, I was almost hitting the ceiling. A reason I had to leave because I felt like I'm going to
Yeah.
get to a certain level and I'm going to be really comfortable at that level, and I'm not going to want to push past it.
When you collaborate, or specifically for this collaboration, are you coming to the table with some sparks, a few ideas that are already in your head, or do you want to compose something completely from scratch?
I mean, considering like the similarities in a lot of the things we do, I think, I'm more interested in just like sending you a bunch of things, that like putting things together. Like I have so much stuff that I'm making constantly, and just seeing like, okay, how would this guy like flip this? Because I'm always recording live instruments,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be making loops. I'm excited to just send you a bunch of stuff and say like, hey, just
Yeah.
go wild with it, send it back to me, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we're just gonna make a beat. I don't know if if I might rap to it. I'm going for it all. I want it to be the fullest expression of what both of us can bring to the table. So
Usually how I work, really how I work, I always work from scratch. Because it's like, it's the exchange of ideas. Is a moment where it's like, okay, cool. Because even for me, it's like, I feel like that's when I produce the best. I think this is probably one of the coolest things. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Man, great to see you guys too.
You too, man, Charles.
yeah.
It's been too long since I've seen you, man. And that just makes me so happy to see you. So thank you.
Nah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this collaboration. It's gonna be dope.
Most
Sweet,
definitely.
man.
All right, y'all.
See you guys later.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
y'all.
Later.
Bye.
Peace.
I loved connecting Eric and Charles. They are on the same wavelength in so many different ways.
I know, we really have two super producers for this episode. Let's hear what they came up with after 2 weeks of songwriting.
Let's go. Gotcha. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for making time. Just to get things rolling, I'm hoping each of you could just share like a word or two about what were your big reflections from working on this track or working with each other.
I remember I sent him something, and I was just trying to like send something to start. And it was cool, but I wasn't 100% into it. And then he sent me a sample, and I was like, "Oh, this is fire." And it had like a lot of different elements to it, and it was just like, I don't know, it just really spoke to me, and so it was real easy to kind of like put something to it. And then like I knew I wanted to make a song, so I knew I didn't want to just like kind of make the beat and just be like, okay, that's done. Like I knew I wanted to write to it, so it just took me like maybe like an afternoon getting in my friend's studio just to like really listen to it over and over and try to find something. Like the sample itself was like a whole world, like what he sent me. So it spoke to me a lot. So I just tried to channel what I was feeling.
I'm curious about that sample, Eric. Where did that sample come from?
So I used ripcord for the chords, I'm trying to think what keys that I use. I think I might have just used either Keyscape or something like that. And then for the vocals, because I added these little vocal chops or whatever. So arcade, I think I use Hooked, and arcade is like heavily used by everyone. So
Dope.
every time I use plugins like that, I always try to like flip the samples around. You know what I'm saying, and process them and like make them my own. And even like that arpeggio part that you added,
On that little breakdown,
and the breakdown. I'm glad that you did, because it's really similar to the first sample you sent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that was like the whole idea of it. I'm like, okay, this first sample inspired that. And then, we created this, you know what I'm saying? So I think I definitely added that, it's the keys, the synth. I'm tripping. I used the Prince by Frank Dukes. That's what I use for the synth.
Nice. I just found out about that.
Yeah.
Looks
So
dope.
no, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I
No
use that
wonder.
for the synth stuff.
The texture was beautiful. Like, I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you told me where
appreciate
the
it.
vocals came from. I was like, where are these vocals?
When you send the files, you had asked me to change anything up, but I'm like, it really doesn't need anything changes, but the drums are knocking, the pattern is there. You feel me?
What I think is so cool, Charles, the hook deals pretty directly, Ben mentioned this, deals pretty directly with mental health.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping you can share either a bit more about where those lyrics come from, or the inspiration for that being the hook and this message that is repeated throughout the song.
Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take
Part two is just, I'm curious if you both have your finger on the pulse of music and hip hop specifically. I'm curious if you see a shift in how hip hop is used as a tool for addressing mental health issues.
Yeah, well, I will say, my songwriting process, at least with this, is the hook came first. And that was like, this is the message, this is the theme, and I can work my way back to this. Yes, especially in the last few years, I would say it definitely sent To Pimp a Butterfly on. Like, a lot of artists are being way more open and vulnerable with their mental health and in the hip hop space, which is great. Obviously, Logic had that big song about suicide awareness. You see so many artists being more vulnerable and transparent around the pressures that they face, and realizing that, like, all this music and stuff is really just a tool and a vehicle to help people. So by putting things that are real, that can resonate with people, we've been in a pandemic for 2 years. Like, everybody has some type of mental weight on them. If you didn't, it's just, you're not normal. Like, it's been a very difficult year. And for a lot of us, we've lost people. I lost one of my best friends this year. My friend Devon, who was a keyboard player in my band, like a brother to me, and he passed in April. So, just, and then the other people, family members, just having this kind of years of life not being normal, people passing, all these different things. It's like, and then also still having to grind it out and work hard and make stuff, and in my case, support my family and take care of my kids. So it's a lot. So to me, it was kind of like, I want to write a song for me or anybody else who finds himself in a dark moment or a dark space.
I think that's amazing, and we hear you. Eric, I'm curious if you have some thoughts here, whether it's about hip hop and mental health, or the pandemic, or you putting your intention into this track. I'd love to hear more.
No, yeah, most definitely I do, man. Especially because it's such a, when we coming down to the rap stuff and the hip hop stuff, it's an interesting thing, because not everyone, but most artists have this mentality of like, okay, of not being vulnerable, right? Which is a weird thing, because in their songs they actually are vulnerable, But in I guess in a human communication, while we're in the studio, they're not as vulnerable as you think they would be, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like it's needed. It really is, because it feels so much better knowing someone else is going through the same thing as you. And as cliche as that sounds or whatever, but it really does. When you are going through a lot of stuff, anxiety, depression, you don't want to talk about it, especially as a man, right? As a male, and what Charles was saying, like taking care of your family, all these other things that come in about in just regular life, right? It's difficult to have a conversation with other people especially with people that you work with, about how you're feeling, which it is that is in your head, all these other things, right? The conversation should move on more than just on the songs. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I was just watching the Juice World thing on HBO, and I was so amazed by this because I never knew. I never knew what this kid was going through. He would freestyle most of his songs, and then there was like 18 songs or something where he did talk about wanting to commit suicide.
I think I might be out of the loop on Juice World. Did he take his own life? I thought he had like an accident. I thought it was like a brain aneurysm or something.
It was suicide from what it was like unintentional.
He like tried to swallow a bunch of pills or something, I think.
He was on a plane. Oh, Eric, you might know that. Sorry, I didn't see the documentary.
So basically in the documentary, there's a scene where he takes like 5 or 6 Percocet 30s. There's a 30 milligram Percocets, because there's so many, we in the music industry, there's so many people that are dealing with substance abuse.
I was gonna say, I think the issue too, like with somebody like Juice WRLD or like some of these younger, I'm gonna call them kids. I feel old saying that, but they are kids to me. Some of these younger kids that are coming out with records, like it's unfortunate that, well, it's good. There's a good thing in the sense that they're being vulnerable and they're helping other kids feel okay with that. Younger people especially can relate to that, but those artists don't seem to be getting the help that they need. And maybe it's something that needs to happen in the industry as well, where it's like we need to, as an industry, understand mental health a little bit better and be sympathetic to that, to substance abuse, sympathetic to mental health.
Yeah, I would even say, I was thinking about Juice WRLD, but also Mac Miller and DMX. I've been, and then also just people in general that I know who've gone through that. I just felt like, I wanted to put something out here in this lyrics that would help somebody, me too, but also help somebody. Like the verse is not long. That's why also, to your earlier point, Eric, I was like, the song was done. Like I wrote one verse and I was like, this is done. Because I said what I need to say. Everybody on this call, we have the type of intentions that are necessary to make our industry better, and that's why I'm also excited that people like you start these podcasts and do these things, because we need, more democracy in the type of information that's being shared.
Charles, if people want to hear more of you and your music, where can they find you?
I would say my Instagram at BLVK Beats is probably where I post most of what I'm doing. Right now, I'm working on a lot of beat tapes. I'm also finishing records with my band, Love Experiment. And this year, I'm finally releasing my solo music as a rapper. My rap persona is Karnival Kid. So that's who's featured on this track, Karnival Kid.
All right, Eric, what about you? Where can people hear more of your stuff?
The same thing on Instagram. Erick Bardales _. Make sure you have the underscore because I got someone else with my name on there, and that kid doesn't use that Instagram. So I've been trying to get that account. but yeah, no, Erick Bardales _. Basically I have a Linktree link on the bio with everything on there, with the music that I've released, with all the sample packs that I've released.
Eric, it's a real pleasure to work with you. Also, I'm a big fan of your work. Like I checked out your sample packs you've done, big fan. So it's awesome to collaborate. And Ben and Tom, thank you for bringing us together. This was such a dope experience. And hopefully, Eric, me and you, this not going to be our last time collaborating.
Oh, no, not at all. Collaborating with Loops is the best thing. So we're definitely going to continue collaborating, man. I mean, this whole thing's been really dope. It's been a great experience, man. So
we'll see y'all later, man.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Thank you to everyone listening at home. And of course, thank you to Eric and Charles.
If you have any feedback, we would love to hear from you. You can send us a DM at blindduetpod on Instagram or email us at blindduetpod@gmail.com.
Also, if you are interested in being a guest on Blind Duet, or if you want to suggest an artist, same thing, DM us or email us. And one last reminder to please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Okay. Here is Eric and Charles's track, Fade Away.
Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Grateful for another day. A lot of my homies done passed away. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Grateful for another day. A lot of my homies done passed away. Been about my business since a little when I was trying to get it. Niggas always talking that shit and I ain't trying to hit it. Dreams been bigger than my fears, I'm just out here living. Destiny been written in the stars, I'm aligning with a bow. I'm just shining with it, I'm just minding with the enemy. The hill soft is the only thing that beats the enemy. The energy that I'm giving to each and every decision becomes a wave in the rhythm that helps me move with intention. We had some losses that turn into lessons, and we had some bad things that turn into blessings. Whenever I'm stressing, I stay in the present. Future gets clearer, I stay manifesting. Dodging depression, all of the pressure can't stop the progression. All of the haters can't stop me from flexing. When I'm in tune, I'm just God's greatest weapon. Blessing. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Grateful for another day. A lot of my homies done passed away. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Grateful for another day. A lot of my homies done passed away. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Gotta find another way to deal with this anxiety. Smoking won't take the pain away. Drinking won't take the pain away. Grateful for another day. A lot of my homies done passed away.
Follow Blind Duet on Instagram and Twitter at Blind Duet Pod. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please send a brief bio along with links to your work to blindduetpod@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Blind Duet is brought to you in part by the New Orleans Tourism and Culture Fund. We would also like to thank the Music and Culture Coalition of New Orleans for their support.